Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing video. And in today's video, we're checking out some old world content. And not just any old world content, we're checking out the brand new army. It's the Grand Cathay, and this is the battalion box. Is it pronounced cafe? That's what I'm running with. So this box is so big it barely fits on screen. But what an incredible set of miniatures this is. When the reveal dropped on Warhammer Community, the whole Brews and Brews team were just in awe. They're just incredible, and the fact they're in plastic as well is just bonkers. So it looks like a great value box. I believe it's going to retail at around £110. Our thanks to Games Workshop for sending this over to us to unbox and review. But yeah, absolutely fantastic looking models. These in the box and the rest of the range. I'm going to quickly flip this over. So within the box, you get two Grand Cannons. You get two of the siege pieces, which can be built as the Grand Cannon or as the Fire Rain Rocket Battery. So you can either build them. It says, even specifies, it says you can either assemble them both the same or one of each. I'd probably be tempted to build one of each personally, but that's definitely my favourite. You get 2 units of 15 Jade Warriors or 3 units of 10 armed with hand weapons and shields or halberds, each with full command. And then you get 1 unit of 10 or 2 units of 5 Jade Lancers, each with full command. So I like the fact it tells you how you can build the units in this box. I can't get over how nice they are. They're so nice. I can imagine all three of us at Sprues and Brews running one of these armies at some point in the future. Let's waste no more time. Let's get this open and let's check out those sprues. Before the next transition, just check out the amount of sprues in here. You've got a big old bag of bases. We've got a very hefty assembly book, which we're going to have a look at in a moment. And then, of course, we've got all these sprues. So I'm just going to move this out of the way and then we'll go through each of the sprues. Okay, so we've taken the first sprue out of the box and it appears to be some of the Lancers. Now, my eyes straight away are focused on these really nice shields and the barding on the horse. Oh, man, look how detailed they are. That is bonkers. I mean, look at those halberds. Well, halberds are probably Lancers, actually, aren't they? With the big Lancers. Silly Dave. Yeah, they are absolutely gorgeous. Got some sheathed swords there. I expected it to be in loads of tiny bits, but actually, so far, not too bad. That is a really, really nice sprue. Let's see what else is in this box. So, yep, this is a different sprue. Again, the Lancers, you've got a really nice curved banner there. Some more horses. Yeah, really detailed. It is bonkers what they can do with plastic miniatures now. There will be a link in the YouTube description so you can check out our full review of the box, as well as some more better images of the sprues for you to check out at your leisure. We'll pull out another one. This looks like our first sort of Jade Warriors. Again, eyes are straight away drawn to those shields. They're so nice. And look, the bodies are actually look like the. Oops, sorry, I just knocked my camera. Look to be just in kind of 2 pieces, a front and a back, which is surprising. Got a slightly different shield there. Look at like samurai sword. Oh my god, these guys are awesome. We've got lots of heads there. I believe they said on the stream there's going to be a mixture of male and female heads with these models. That's a really nice sword there as well. Oh, so nice. I mean, look at that sort of pack with a sheathed sword. Yeah, really, really nice. So yeah, we've got a big banner on there. You can take these with the halberds or the swords, hand weapons. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to jump on these guys because they're just so good. And looking at the rest of the range with like the dragons, that massive airship thing. This will be the cannon, the massive dragon head on it. Lots of chunky parts. Let's flip that over. Very, very nice. I put together a lot of recent GW kits and they're so fun and easy to build nowadays. I've got a repeat sprue there, I'll just pop that there. Yeah, they're just so good. That appears to be all the sprues. I've got another one here for the other cannon. We've got some bases, but this is something I was really excited about. The transfer sheet. Look at those. Wow. Yeah, they're incredible. I mean, especially those banner ones, those banner designs. Look at those. Absolutely incredible. Scabbard cloak edging and sash designs. What are these? Northern Imperial. So Imperial seals, flame motifs, banner seals. Oh, so nice. So nice. Again, there'll be an image of that on the website as well. And that's the contents unboxed, and I'm blown away by the quality. I mean, obviously they look detailed in the images, but until you see the actual sprues. There was one thing I forgot, and that is the instructions. So we're going to have a quick flick through this first. We'll just see if we can get a little bit more zoom. I've got a new sort of tripod that I'm just getting used to. So it clearly points out your sprues here, so you get 3 lots of the Jade Warriors, so these different sprues, the Lancers, and then your cannons. Very detailed guide on your basing as well, which is really handy. This is, of course, the first new army for the old world, so we've been relying on kind of old minis. This is all brand spanking new. You got your optional parts, and then it breaks down how you assemble them. It's really weird to see such an up-to-date instruction guide with square bases. It's quite odd, but yeah, really good. So we'll quickly flick through this. So the Jade Warriors here, building them with halberds on, or the hand weapons and shields. The Lancers, I mean, these look really easy to assemble, like really easy to assemble. Considering how detailed they are, the assembly looks really straightforward. Like the drums, that's pretty cool. Keep going through these. Really looking forward to seeing the rules when they're finally released as well. I assume will be alongside this box. This is going to be such a hot pre-order. Hopefully, GW have made lots of them. You've got your artillery there as well, the crew with the different options. I really like the big ogre. He's very cool. There he is. Ogre Ludo with barrel and mace. Or with cannonball. And there they are on the base at the end there. 2 ways of building it. Yeah, really nice. Surprised by how easy they look to assemble. Yeah, really looking forward to seeing what Jay does with them. So yeah, fingers crossed he's got something to show us.
So fast forward a couple of weeks later, and Jay's been frantically painting up the Cathay box. How have you found them, Jay?
Well, I mean, so firstly, putting them together, they're really detailed models. So are these the first new sort of plastic infantry and generic kits for Warhammer Fantasy? Oh no, the Bretonians had some.
The Bretonians had the Foot Knights, yeah, but yeah. I mean, this is a whole plastic range for them, and we've got the, what are these guys called?
These are the Jade Warriors, yeah. So these come in 2 different builds. So you've got the ones here with the halberds. You can also fit them with hand weapons and shields. And when you're building these guys, you do get a choice of arms. So you can, you can have the weapon more upright or more sort of forward facing. So if when you're building your sort of rank and file your unit, you can get them all.
Oh, that's cool. So you got something like the front rank. And
precisely, yeah. What I really like about these is the amount of detail on them. So You can see they've got this like blade that's hanging off their belt as well. And if you've got the sword and shield armed Jade Warriors, you can cut the handle off the scabbard there.
Oh, that's cool.
They have lots of like pouches and like flasks and bottles and things that you can sort of hang off their belt. You know, these are really well equipped sort of infantry units. They're really detailed model. I really like the sort of scale armour that they're wearing with the leather sort of trim around it.
They're very cool.
So these are your core unit in the Arcane Journal and the army list, the Jade Warriors and the Jade Lancers. Like I say, you get 2 loadouts for the Jade Warriors. If you include the dragon, the Storm Dragon, Miao Yang, you can upgrade the Jade Lancers, Jade Warriors to Celestial Dragon Guard, so they're like a more elite sort of infantry unit then.
Okay, and they just be represented with a different paint scheme.
Yeah, I think you just give them a different paint scheme. There's no additional parts on the sprue to sort of differentiate them. But here I've done like a sort of jade trim to the armor plates. You could swap that for like I think it's the gold and yellow is the Celestial Dragon Guard colour.
That's very cool. So that's your basic infantry. And then we've got the new cavalry. Now these are interesting. I know we were chatting about these a little while ago, and they're quite unusual that they've got fighting extra ranks or horses.
Yeah, they are an unusual cavalry. So they're heavy cavalry. I think with the shield and the barded steed, they get down to a 3+ armor save value.
Nice.
So they're quite resilient. They do everything that you'd expect cavalry to do. But yeah, these guys have got some cool gimmicks. So they've got a cool rule called Cathay and Cataphract, which means that in all of the subsequent turns of combat, they count as having charge. So when they make that follow-up move,
nice.
They count as having charge. So you can really get the benefit of their Cathay and Lances in subsequent rounds of combat, which is unusual for cavalry. Normally they go in, if they don't kill the unit they're fighting, then they're in trouble. And then you mentioned they get the fighting extra ranks as well. So this is a cavalry unit where unusually when I'm sort of building a list, I'm looking actually to take maybe a unit of 10 and 2 ranks of 5, or you know, a few extra ranks of these guys.
They're heavy cavalry, so
they
you
are
can
heavy
go
cavalry.
4 wide and still get rank bonus.
You can go 4 wide, yeah. And actually, model-wise, they've got a very imposing sort of silhouette, and you know, they do look like heavy cavalry.
Yeah, they kind of look like, this might sound weird, but good Chaos Knights.
That is exactly what I was when I was building them and painting. That's exactly the sort of thought I had as well. You're right. They are very dynamic. That the models are very sort of dynamic. The way they've sculpted them, you don't get as much sort of flexibility in terms of how you build these. They sort of go together in one way. They weren't too bad to paint, but normally with cavalry I like to leave the riders off.
Yeah.
But these, again, they're just so detailed. So you can see at the top he's got like a leather rein that he's holding across the top of the horse. And you have to sort of put that on, but the body has to be there as well. These were a bit trickier to sort of... I left the shield off and the helmet off, but that was it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that from a few GW cavalry kits now, where they're kind of like integrated with the horse, which, like you say, I guess it's cool for more dynamic pose, but does make it harder to paint them, doesn't it?
Yeah. But they were really nice to paint because they've got a lot of clean lines, they've got a lot of different textures, but it's quite well defined. You know, sometimes when you're painting a model and some of the textures and they sort of blend, and it's difficult to tell where, you know, the fur ends and the leather begins and things like that. But with these guys, it wasn't. It was really well defined and well sculpted, the models.
Do you get any of the transfer sheets in the box?
You do get the transfer sheets in the box, yeah. So you can see on this model, there's not really a lot of places to put them on. And if you look at the shield as well, the shield has got a lot of detail.
Kind of textured, isn't it?
Sculpted in, yeah. So I think the transfers will come in handy on their banners.
I guess it's handy for the rest of the range as well, because they've not always put the transfers in each box for the Old World releases either, so... he's very nice. And then, finally, we've got the artillery piece. Now, this can build 2 different artillery platforms, is that right?
Correct, and you
get 2 in the box.
You do, you get 2 in the box. So I've got another one at home that I'm building, but I've not painted this one yet. So this is the Fire Rain rocket. So yeah, so this is an artillery kit. The Fire Rain rocket is a really nice sort of unit. It's got 2 sort of fire modes for its rockets. They're more like sort of anti-infantry type sort of attack profile. They've got a really cool special, I think it's called the Wailing Spirit, which forces units to take panic tests as if they've suffered heavy casualties. I mean, I love the big dragon head, the gold dragon head on the front of it.
Doesn't it? It's quite a chunky model as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And when I was building and painting, so I did build this up and paint it in sub-assemblies. It was really, really nice to paint, and there's lots of cool details. So
even down the little kind of the fuse and everything.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. You can sort of see how the weapon works.
Yeah.
So it was great fun to paint, and I think actually what I enjoyed painting more than the rocket itself is the crew.
Well, the ogre kind of jumps out at me. He is very cool.
Yeah, so this is great. So there's two sort of builds to this model as well. This is the model that's sort of with the powder keg there, ogre loader that goes with the firing rocket, and there's one as well that's sort of an alternate build to go with the Great Cathay cannon. These are really, really good as well. So what these do is they sort of increase the sort of characteristics of the cannon. I think they grant it a bit of extra movement.
Okay, is that an upgrade for the cannon then?
It is an upgrade for the cannon, yeah. They grant it a bit of extra movement. It grants the unit stubborn. He actually, when he joins the unit, he dishes out gunpowder bombs to the rest of the crew, so they've got this little range attack, these grenades they can throw. But what's really, really cool about him is that once per game, he allows the cannon to shoot twice in the shooting phase. And this is great because, you know, cannons sometimes you miss, and that's it. You know, you're missing. It just gives you a bit of redundancy in case you fluff your artillery dice.
He's very cool, and then we've got the rest of the crew as well. These are, again, really nice models. I guess one thing that we mentioned on when we kind of open this up, you know, there's a lack of heroes in this box, but these kind of models give you that bit of, you know, individual models to paint up.
Exactly, yeah. So the crew's really, really characterful, and you're right. I mean, there's a really, really cool unit in the book called the Magistrate, which is a hero choice, and the guy you've just put down there, I thought would make a really, really cool sort of conversion base for that model.
He's very cool, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the you know, health and safety is for smoking a pipe around the.
I'm sure it's fine.
And what I really like about the sort of aesthetic of this army as well, it's a really, really clean looking army. You know, these look like a professional army, and I've really had fun with these guys where, you know, when you're trying to decide on a colour scheme, you think, all right, I'll do blue and red, but you can actually mix a lot of different colours in on this army. So I've got the jade green on the jade lancers and warriors, and these are more blue, and I think looking through the book, there's almost like different castes and different sort of guilds.
You can imagine they kind of draft their army from different parts of the population. So like your artillery could be in red and blue because that's their like guild colours or whatever.
Precisely, yeah.
They're very, very cool. So, we do have a full write-up over on bruiseandbruise.com, and in there we go through the full Arcane Journal. Obviously, we've only got the models here in the army set to show off, and you get quite a lot in there. Was it 10 cavalry?
You get 10 of the Jade Lancers, the cavalry, yep. You get 30, I believe, of the Jade Warriors.
And multiple command there, so you could build them as 2 units?
You can, yep, that's right. And then the 2 of the cannons as well. Well, or you can build them as 2 firing rockets or 2 Grand Cathay cannons.
Yeah, and I think off the top of my head, £120 I think it is for the box, which is pretty good price. I mean, I take it that gives you a fair chunk of a starting army then.
It does, yeah. So your core choices in the Cathay army are your Jade Warriors and your Jade Lancers, and yeah, so that battalion's a great place to pick those up. It's a small roster at the moment. You know, you don't have a lot of unit selection, so I think you'd probably be looking to take 2 or 3 of the cannons as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a great box actually to pick multiples up of.
Do you think it'd be worth picking up like 2 of them then for setting an army?
I am definitely picking up another one to pad out the force, yeah. Because I think as well, I mean, like I say, the list is quite a small roster. You've got a few things you can do in there. So the Jade Warriors and the Jade Lancers can be upgraded to Celestial Dragon Guard. So they're representing 2 units each. But there's no ranged infantry, for example.
Yeah, now they are mentioned in the lore and in the Arcane Journal, aren't they?
They are, yeah. And I think, you know, people who are familiar with the Warhammer Total War games, Cathay's been a force in that for a while now. So you can sort of get you could probably take a good guess at what's coming for the rest of the year.
Now, at the time I filmed this, Games Workshop have announced that there is going to be a second Arcane Journal. I think today on pre-order is everything. So this army box, not the individual kits from this box, but I guess they want to sell the big box first and then sell them later down the line. And then all of the heroes and the monster and the lantern, apart from the big dragon lady. I think everything else is getting released, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. which I think is great. So I think, I mean, the Storm Dragon, the sort of centerpiece, she's a really cool special character. She's got some really unique rules, as you'd expect, for this, able to shapeshift between a human form and wizard form. She's got a really cool mechanic where she can recover wounds, so you can you really have to play around with that ability to shapeshift to make the most of her. Keep her on the battlefield. She's very resilient. She's an absolute powerhouse when it comes to melee combat in dragon form.
Right, okay.
And in human form, she's a superb caster.
So it'll be a case of switching her forms as and when she needs them and managing kind of
precisely
what form to be in at what turn.
Yeah, exactly.
When does she transform in? Is that something you have to do like at the start of the turn?
It's in the command sub phase, start of the turn, command sub phase, and you basically so you have to replace her with the model you're transforming into. You can't. You have to be an inch away from a friendly unit and 3 inches away from an enemy unit. So you can actually come out of combat by transforming as well,
right,
which is interesting. And with some careful positioning, you can probably get her into some decent positions as well. There are some limitations. She can't charge once she's on the turn she's transformed. However, she does recover D3 wounds every time she transforms.
Right, okay. So if she's looking a bit kind of worse for wear, switch her into dragon form,
get
heal her up a bit,
back,
and then
precisely. Yeah, and I mean, I think she got 7 wounds profile. If she's in dragon form and she dies, she actually transforms back into human form with D3 wounds remaining.
Oh,
as well.
wow, okay.
But then she can't go back into dragon form after
But it gives her a last gasp, I suppose, as a wizard to do some damage.
It does, yeah.
That's really cool. And what about the other units? We've got the big sentinels and the lantern. Obviously, they're big kind of centerpiece kits that are coming out with this wave. Are they things you want to add to your army?
Yeah, I mean, this army is, I call this out in the review actually, it's an army full of centerpieces. So you mentioned the Sky Lanterns, which I think are one of the most versatile units in the book actually. So the Sky Lantern can be taken on its own, and it's like it's a very manoeuvrable heavy chariot that flies. It's a fantastic ranged weapons profile, so you can load this out with a multitude of various crane guns, iron hail rifles, which various one is more suited to sort of lighter infantry, one is more suited to sort of tougher infantry.
So a bit like a flying Empire war wagon.
It is, exactly. It can drop bombs in a similar way to the gyrocopter. It provides some buffs for the rest of your army, so you can actually, the lantern can help support the cannons in terms of line of sight and that thing for the bombardment.
Oh, that's very cool.
It can also be a mount for one of the hero characters, the Magistrates. The Magistrates, there's no individual release for the Magistrates.
Right, okay.
I'm assuming it's going to be a model you can build in and out of this Sky Lantern on the sprue. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, in the past that's what they've done, isn't it, with the Phoenix for the High Elves and I think the Chariots for the Dark Elves. So that makes sense why we haven't seen it yet, that you can build it as a magistrate in a lantern. If you don't, you've got a magistrate on foot.
Magistrate on foot, yeah. And the magistrates are really cool. So it's a sort of strategist type character. So it's not really a melee combatant or a spellcaster at all, but it gives you some good synergies in the army, some armor and buffs. A lot of the army, a theme that runs through it is this really well disciplined, high leadership sort of force across the army, and the magistrates sort of play into that a little bit. So the guys generally have higher than average leadership. They have a lot of sort of abilities which allow them to either re-roll panic tests and things like this. So that was one sort of thing I got from the army, and alongside that as well, they're actually quite a magical army. Right, so in Cathay they have a different sort of understanding of the winds of magic. They look at it through a different lens almost, and they're able to. So obviously the Storm Dragon, the dragon character, has some really good abilities and magical capabilities, and the Shigengan Lord, which is the other sort of character that you can rise the
like horse dragon thing.
The horse dragon thing, yeah. Also a very capable spellcaster. But also, I mean, when I was looking at the sort of stat line, the profile, comparable to the is it the Jukon Hippogriff?
Okay.
Bretonnian, so very powerful melee combatant as well.
We know how powerful they are. I mean, I guess you've not got the Pegasus Knight equivalent, but if I remember rightly, lore-wise, we might get cavalry on those creatures as well.
Yeah, I think in the Warhammer Total War game there is some flying cavalry. So yeah. But that's a really good sort of character option, and it's can be taken as the Shigengan Lord and the Shigengan General, so two sort of levels of profile.
Okay, so again, another multiple purchase. Presumably there's going to be multi-builds in there to make them look different as well then.
Yeah. Underneath that you've got the gatekeepers, which are your sort of... They're still quite like Lord and Hero style characters. One of these can be your battle standard bearer. They have some interesting, I think it's steel and stone. Again, it plays into that really high discipline sort of leadership theme that runs through the army. And then the Sentinel, yes, you mentioned the Sentinel, another centerpiece kit. Really, really, I mean, we've not got the model, but we've seen the pictures on the Warhammer community, and
well, even the images in the Arcane Journal, it's a sizable model.
It is, yeah, a really, really big centerpiece, and it's a really, really nice model. It's you look at it, you think, oh, it's a big walking statue. It's going to be sort of to anchor your lines and to sort of build a sort of defensive line around. But actually, it's got some interesting rules which allow it to reroll charges and things like this.
Okay.
So into combat, it's got some amazing sort of close combat profiles. Two different attack modes, like a sweeping mode for the hordes, or a single sort of killing blow. I think it's monstrous killing blow, multiple defense.
Monstrous, oh wow, yeah, okay.
And then, of course, what's really special about the Sentinel is that it can be made from different material.
Yeah.
So you've got a Warpstone Sentinel, a Jade Sentinel, is there a Granite Sentinel, I think, as well, which have various rules. Some of them, there's a really, really good one which is like magic resistance and sort of interferes and disrupts with the magic casting abilities of enemy wizards. You've got one that's obviously a bit tougher with a better armour save and things like this.
And I guess from a hobby point of view, it gives you scope to paint them up in different schemes as well to represent the different materials they're made of.
Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we've got a full write-up of the Arcane Journal over on spruesandbrews.com. I know you're really excited to get this army on the table. I think once they're painted up, Joe, we might do a little 1,000 points battle report.
Yeah.
Maybe Wood Elves versus Cathay or something, maybe?
Yeah, that's it. Well, we've got a couple of Old World events, haven't we, later in the year, so get some practicing for that.
Yeah, no, that'd be really, really good. And I guess just quick one. What's your kind of thoughts on a second Arcane Journal coming quite quickly after this one?
Yeah, so we had the news, didn't we, that have we...
Yeah, later in the year another Arcane Journal's come in.
Yeah.
Also with the dragon model and presumably some of the models in. Because like you say, it feels like kind of half an army at the minute, doesn't it?
It does. I think you're definitely a bit limited, so I'd love to see some ranged infantry in your core slots. I know in the Warhammer game, Total War game, we've got peasant infantry, and obviously there's the other Jade Warriors with crossbows. They're mentioned in the Arcane Journal.
We've got the rest of the royal family as well. There's a couple of dragon shape-shifting peeps, isn't there?
This is it. The various, so they sort of introduced the different provinces and sort of lands of Cathay and the various sort of the dragon offspring of the celestial dragon emperor. And yeah, we've seen some of those in the game, the PC game. And yeah, I expect what we'll see in the Arcane Journal is, like you say, armies to represent armies from the different provinces.
Yeah, well, they said in another Warcom article, which they've been really good on Warcom. If you haven't checked them out, they've got some quite in-depth kind of background and history and how they made the army. And they mentioned that in this Arcane Journal, that's the standard Cathay army in Cathay as they are at any moment in time. Where in the future Arcane Journal, that will be in their war aspect as they march out.
Their invasion boss.
Yeah, different units, maybe different makeup. So yeah, excited to see that. I kind of wish it was all in, even if it was a more expensive Arcane Journal, it was all in one. But this way, it does let them stagger the release a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so this Arcane Journal is different than the other ones because there are no armies of infamy in there.
It's just the core army list,
just the core list, yeah. But I mean, it's nice to see. It can't be too far away. Like I say, if they're holding back the sort of centerpiece Storm Dragon model, then it can't be too far away.
Well, they've been doing Old World releases every couple of months. I mean, we've had just in the space of just over a year, every army released out of the core book, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So we might get a couple of waves of Cathay, and then I was chatting with a friend of the show, Andy, about this the other day, and the scope of Dogs of War getting all their old models released in an Arcane Journal for that, and then obviously Kislev, I suspect, would be a similar pattern to this, where you get the core list and another book with sub-lists and split the models across them. So I think there's going to be lots of Old World releases for the near future, isn't there?
Yeah.
And then presumably, if we're talking a 3-year edition cycle like Heresy, then that might be the point where the old legacy armies become legal as well.
Yeah, which I think would be a popular move.
I would, yeah, that'd be really good. And that obviously gives Age of Sigmar time to phase those models out, because I don't think it's a secret that you look at all the releases for Age of Sigmar and it's getting rid of those old world kits, isn't it, and replace them with new Age of Sigmar ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, exciting times. So yeah, check out the review over on Sprues and Brews if you want a deep dive into the Arcane Journal. Massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending these over a little bit early for us to look at. If you would like to support the site, we do have an affiliate link to Element Games in the description. Anything that you get through there goes towards helping the site. And yeah, if you have liked this one, give us a like, give us a follow, share this with your friends, and tell you if you are collecting a Cathay army, because I'm really excited to see kind of what different schemes people do as well.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. So we've gone for just the box art here, which I mean, I was sort of considering a unique colour scheme, but I actually really like the box art, and I think you get a lot of variety. Like I say, we've got a different sort of colour scheme here on the artillery crew compared to the Jade Warriors and Jade Lancers, and then as we get other units released over time, we can introduce some additional colour there as well.
Amazing. So yeah, until next time, we'll see you real soon. But I think once we've got the units painted up, we'll update the article as well with some shots of the units. And like I say, it won't be too far off till we can probably do an Old World battle report with Cathay as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, until next time, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.